as well.
Yes, indeed. Mark, will stay in the region for our next update. More than 2 years of armed conflict in Sudan have severely damaged the country's infrastructure, causing widespread power shortages that continue to affect daily life. Despite recent improvements in security across central regions, essential services such as electricity, water and gas have yet to recover fully. In the capital of Khartoum, the largest oil refinery remains closed after repeated attacks, leading to critical fuel shortages that hamper electricity generation. Residents face prolonged blackouts, with Port Sudan experiencing outages exceeding 10 hours daily, and Khartoum enduring up to 16 hours without power. These shortages have disrupted water supply, forcing many to rely on unsafe sources, contributing to health risks. Locals say that despite the cessation of fighting, the ongoing power crisis continues to hinder recovery and prevents displaced families from returning home. Mark, this power crisis in Sudan has been going on for more than 2 years after a cessation of fighting. How has this conflict affected the country's infrastructure and daily life?
Again, it's a tragedy. I think if we look at Sudan, that maybe 12 million people have been displaced. If we then go back in history, when you've had one coup, then you have another coup. This goes back to, I think, the man Bashir then coming into power around about 1989, then an overthrow of his government a number of years later. Again, it's understanding history, power play. And very sadly, civilians are then caught in the middle of this, because the UN and various other people that are looking at this have said, well, there's a genocide going on, or slightly pulled back from that in actually confirming that. I think there's been 150,000 plus civilian deaths. You and I both know that if you then are cutting off water supply, other infrastructure, that you are aiming to disturb that and actually dealing then with the armed forces or the other opposition that you are wish to then fighting against. Civilians are then caught in the middle of this all the time. It's one way very quickly that you can turn the country into utter chaos. Hence the reports of going, the 12 million people have been on the move through the years of this conflict.
Yes, Mark Sutherland, thank you so much for your insight on that issue and the other updates. We will now move on once again and stay in the continent. In a significant step towards peace, rebels in the Central African Republic have begun laying down arms after a peace deal was signed in April. Members of the Union for Peace in the Central African Republic, or the UPC, and the Return, Reclamation and Rehabilitation Group, known as 3R, are now surrendering weapons in a government-led disarmament process. The agreement signed in Ndjima formulates the dissolution of both groups. Over 170 former combatants have been demobilized at sites in Malom and Kau, with more than 150 weapons collected. The African Union and UN mission MINUSCA have welcomed this development, calling on remaining armed factions to follow suit and embrace the peace process. Now let's take a look at some updates from the Indo-Pacific.